In the headlines, again, explosion hits Niger community. Cleric blames falling moral standards for rise in ritual killings. President Buhari signs electoral bill into law. And on the foreign scene, street fighting erupts in battle for Ukraine's capital, Kyiv. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. And now the news in detail. Explosions suspected to be improvised explosive devices again went off in Galadimakogo, Shiroro local government area of Niger State. The convener of concerned Shiroro youths, Sani Koki, confirmed the incident. This is coming 5 days after the first bomb blast occurred in the same community, killing 4 officers of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. Police in Edo State on Friday confirmed that some cash suspected to have been carted away by robbers during Thursday's robbery attacks on some banks in Uromi has been recovered. Edo Commissioner of Police Philip Ogbadu confirmed this in an interview with News Agency of Nigeria. Ogbadu said about 37 million naira and 5 cars suspected to have been stolen by the robbers were recovered at a bush where they were abandoned. The robbers had on Thursday evening carried out what looks like coordinated robbery attacks on some commercial banks in Uromi, as a northeast local government area of Edo State. A midnight fire on Saturday gutted a shopping plaza in the popular spare parts market in the Ladipo area of Lagos State. The Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, who confirmed the incident, said no casualty was recorded. Reports say the fire incident occurred early Saturday morning and affected a one-story building, the Aguiyi Plaza, before dawn. The agency, however, said scores of shops and goods worth millions of naira were burnt in the inferno. The alarming rise in cultism, ritual killings, fraudulent schemes, and get-rich-quick syndrome among young ones, especially students, in the past few months has been attributed to moral decadence and fallen standards of family values. In this interview with Trust TV's Nafisa Abdul Al, a clergyman, Imam Nuruk Alid, identified moral decay among the youth and failure of institutions as being responsible.
The society is facing a decline in moral values, especially among the youth. One of such is the rise in cases of acts of ritualism, fraudulent practices tailored towards a get-rich-quick scheme. Muhammad Nuru Khalid, a clergyman, attributes this to institutional failure within the family, educational system, and the entertainment industry.
Institutional collapse. All our institutions are gradually collapsing, especially family institutions and educational institutions. When the family is no more working, children will not be brought up in a proper way, in a moral standards. There will be an absence of ethical values in their mind. And that will now lead to whatever they see outside, they will quickly be adapted to it.
On the decadence of moral values in the society today, the millennials are said to perpetuate these acts more.
It shows that there is a moral decay in our country. Parents have really forgotten their responsibilities. And responsibility in terms of taking care of it. A parent have the right to take off, provide shelter, food, and education. But when the parent fail all this in this aspect, you see the children going to become rich by all means.
It's not as if the youth much are very interested in it. But the reasons why most persons get involved in something like this is because most of them are graduates. After going to school, they feel so discouraged. They see older people driving Lamborghinis and much more. But I know I'm not trying to promote it anyways. But the reasons why they are doing it is because they want to get these things in their early age. And that is the reason why most of them want to cut the process by getting involved in most of these things. If the government should look at it anyways by trying to see how they can produce more jobs, more companies, and much more.
It is the rest of the failure of the parents of training their children in terms of teaching them morals. And at the same time, I would say is also the lack of virtue of patience, because everybody wants to make it in life. And make it in life, they don't want to wait at the appropriate time, or they don't want to venture into maybe doing the right thing, going the right process of getting what they want to get. But indulging into things that are not moral, things that are not good.
The current youth of nowadays are very lazy. They are looking for short way to wealth. They don't want to work. They don't want to do hard work. Just like in the past, we need to work, do things, plan yourself, everything. What about those that go for a servant? They spend 7 to 8, 9 years and they got settled. They started struggling and they make it. It's first of all, in Bible, it says there's something there. 1 Corinthians 15:33. It talks about bad association. I think that is the major cause of it. Bad association, too much of courtesan and a lot of things, prostitution. The president said it before. People don't understand the message. The message is the youth are lazy. They don't want to work. They don't want to suffer. They want the short way to success, which there's no short way to success.
The family institution is considered to be the first learning ground of a child's development, and as such has a responsibility to shape the moral upbringing of an individual in order to incorporate morally upright persons into the society. Nafisa Abdul-Al, Church TV News, Abuja.
President Muhammadu Buhari has signed the long-awaited Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2021 into law. The president signed the amendment bill at 12:25 p.m. yesterday at a brief ceremony attended by Senate President Ahmed Lawang and Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila of the House of Representatives, among others. He said the signed document comes with a great deal of improvement as it will engender transparency to the country's electoral process. President Buhari, however, asked the National Assembly to rework on the provisions that barred political appointees from electoral contest so that it could be in line with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Of candidates for any election. This provision has introduced qualification and disqualification criteria that alter various the Constitution by way of imposing blanket restriction and disqualification to serving political office holders, of which they are constitutionally accorded protection. Arising from the foregoing, with particular regards to the benefits of the bill, industry, time, resources, and energy committed in its passage, I hereby assent to the bill and request the National Assembly to consider immediate amendments that will bring the bill in tune with constitutionality by way of deleting section 84, subsection 12 accordingly.
It took a lot of effort, a lot of work, commitment and dedication by members of the National Assembly and other stakeholders, those in government particularly, and some civil society organizations. I want at this point commend Mr. President for being there to ensure that any challenge as far as the passage of the appropriation for the Electoral Act Amendment Bill was concerned, he ensured that it didn't stop us from going further to reach the end in a conclusive way. Today marked the most important part of this exercise when Mr. President signed the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2010 into law.
I believe it's a landmark piece of legislation and has far-reaching and I mean far-reaching implications of the provisions contained therein. I can count offhand at least 10 to 15 provisions in that electoral law that, if properly executed by INEC and the people who the laws are made for, it will be a turning point in the electoral history of Nigeria. And we will witness and not just be mouthing free, fair elections and credible elections, but we'll actually witness free, fair and credible elections moving forward.
Similarly, Chairman Transition Monitoring Group, Awal Rafsanjani, said the lawmakers need to rework Section 84 of the Electoral Amendment Act that has just been signed into law. He spoke to Trust TV earlier from Lagos via phone call.
One of the ways in which we will ensure fairness in the electoral system is to ensure that those who are, holding political offices did not continue to use public taxes money and did not use security operatives to advantage themselves. Like we've seen in the past, when there's an election coming and political office holders, they used to voluntarily resign and leave their position to contest the election. But unfortunately, that has changed, and therefore some people who are holding political offices, usually keep their offices, use government resources to come and ambush and elbow other contestants. So this new Electoral Act amendment is advocated to ensure that if you are a serving political office holder, you do not use your position to advantage yourself. We have seen in 1983 when Muhammad Abuja, the former governor of Kano State, wanted to recontest the election. He actually stepped aside and contested, as an ordinary person. And during the early days of democracy in Nigeria when we returned to democracy in 1999, we have seen that those who are serving under the government of Obasanjo, they all resigned and went to contest election. So it is important that we do not allow people to continue to abuse the opportunity they have, while serving in government, because that will be very, very unfair if we continue to allow people who are serving already to contest election, because usually it doesn't, allow fairness. So I think it is important that we maintain that neutrality and that fairness in the election that we are doing. Otherwise, if people are holding political offices and they are using public taxpayers' money, they are using government privileges against other Nigerians, then obviously it will be difficult to have a free, fair, credible election.
Okay. You're watching Trust News Update. Coming up after the break. How the hunter became the hunted. Do stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching Trust News Updates. Let's take a look at some of our top stories. You heard that explosions suspected to be IEDs again went off in Galadima-Kogo, Shiroro local government area of Niger State. You also heard that alarming rise in cultism, ritual killings, fraudulent schemes, and get-rich-quick syndrome among young ones, especially students in the past few months, has been attributed to moral decadence and fallen standards of family values. Moving on to health, Nigeria has recorded 33 new infections across the country in 6 states and the Federal Capital Territory. According to the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, in its update for Friday 25th, 13 people were discharged after they recovered from the infection, while no deaths were reported for the 7th day in a row, leaving the total number of fatalities at 3,142. So far, 254,461 cases have been confirmed in the 36 states and the FCT, with 48,863 recoveries. Police in Katsina State arrest 3 members of the outlawed volunteer security, otherwise known as Decay, for killing 2 people few weeks after banning their operations. The Decay, while carrying out the activities, allegedly abducted one Harisu Abdulrazak at Rimaye Market in Kankia local government area to a nearby bush, and they reportedly killed and dumped his body in an abandoned well. Abdullahi Yamadi reports.
The outlawed Decay also abducted and killed a 55-year-old Alhaji Magaji Yusuf at his residence in Makurdi village of Bakori local government area. Those arrested in connection with the 2 separate abductions and killings are Muhammad Abdullahi, Haruna Sani and Bishir Muazu alias Kaura, all belonging to the outlawed Decay groups. The police command in Katsina has also arrested a 35-year-old Hajia Fatima Alhaji Bami, an informer and a notorious supplier of dangerous charms to terrorists. The suspect, Hajia Fatima, who was alleged to have been providing information and charms to terrorists in carrying out their nefarious acts, also confessed to be a close associate of a notorious bandit leader, one Sani Mohidingi, who is on security's wanted list.
Succeeded in arresting one Hajia Fatima Alhaji Bami. She's about 45 years of Daha Forest, the Musa local government area. What she does, she's specialized in giving criminal charms to terrorists in the forest. But according to the investigation that we are making, this particular woman was the one that gave criminal charms to a notorious suspected terrorist, Sani Mohindinge.
Fatima Bami also told the police that her clients specialized in terrorizing communities in the Musa local government area and other neighboring villages.
So, Anche kike bawa Sani Mohindinge asiri.
Well, I don't provide charms to bandits. All I do and all I know is that sometimes I assist them spiritually. I have some spiritual powers, and of course I used to assist them when they are sick, only when they are sick. But I don't give them charms to go and terrorize people, or rather charms that will assist them in carrying out their nefarious activities. I don't do that. Honestly, I don't do that. Other suspects arrested by the police include Shamsuddin Tahiru, Bala Inwa alias Kurkur, and Jamil Isa, suspected to be members of a notorious bandits group. The 3 suspects specialized in providing information, conspiring with terrorists to attack villages and kidnap people for ransom. In the course of investigation, a Golf 3 vehicle, AK-47 rifle and ammunition were recovered from the suspects, who confessed to have participated in various cases of kidnappings and cattle rustling.
That vehicle, the white Golf, was recovered, and as well, one AK-47 rifle with several rounds of ammunition were also recovered while the terrorists escaped. And as I promise you that in the course of our investigation, we are going to trace and arrest the owner and also the perpetrators of that dastardly terrorist activities.
The Katsina State Commissioner of Police, who was represented at the briefing by the Police Public Relations Officer SP Gambo Isa, told journalists that a combined team of military, vigilante and the police have succeeded in recovering 149 cows, 33 sheep at Shemi, which were believed to have been rustled from Kurami village of Bakwari local government in Katsina State. Though no arrest was made, it was gathered that the bandits escaped with gunshot wounds while investigation is ongoing. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Despite the NNPC Group Managing Director's promise to end fuel scarcity in 1 week, long queues persist in filling stations around the Federal Capital Territory as residents express frustration waiting long hours to get fuel. Mardia Umar visits some of the filling stations in Abuja and reports.
The over 2 weeks long scarcity caused by the withdrawal of the methanol blended premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, imported into Nigeria persisted in Abuja, as some filling stations were closed to customers and some left deserted. Just when Abuja residents thought it was over, this week it took a different dimension for scarcity of fuel in the Federal Capital Territory as residents are scampering every nook and cranny, every filling station looking for fuel to buy. And this is one of the few filling stations in town that has fuel. Going around Abuja, we saw lots of filling stations down. Some of them didn't even have fuel to sell to their customers. And this has been a situation since the start of the week. Some Abuja residents who have spent hours on the queue waiting to get fuel express sadness over the situation.
I've been on the queue for close to 3 hours, and to be honest, it's not a very good situation. The only thing I would like to say is, for we to go through this stress, it definitely means the hiccups from the top. Somebody is not taking responsibility for his mistakes. Whereby if you bring in fake fuel, in quote, as they call it, are they trying to tell us that they are sitting down and not doing their job? Or are they trying to tell us that they don't have a testing and quality assurance, whatever, before they bring in the fuel into the country? I mean, it's so pathetic. It means somebody is not taking responsibility for his errors.
Seeing, they say, is believing. You can see what we are passing through in getting the fuel. Like yesterday, I was at the total filling station near customs office. I spent about 2 hours. The people locked the gate and I was locked out. Okay, this same morning, that is where I'm coming from. Do you know, I almost entered the gate. The person, fuel attendant, was dragging the filling station gate with me, wanting me to even knock him down with the car. But being an elderly person, I wouldn't want to do that. Do you know, I came down, he locked the gate. Then I went with this car, just this car. I said, my car is in red. Please, just give me this car. Let me use it to move my car. I was talking to a deaf ear. At my age, look at my age. I am almost a senior citizen. Okay, yet they couldn't listen to me. I have to drive this car on radio to this place now. And it will only be the grace of God that I can get fuel. It's only by the grace of God. So that is what we are passing through. Yesterday, I had to buy these people walking along. I had to buy 10 liters. You know how much they sell it? Almost 4,000. So, how much is my salary? If I should be buying 4,000.
Speaking on why there's still scarcity of the product, the National Vice President of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, Abubakar Gandhi, said petrol remains scarce in major cities for 2 reasons: refusal of IPMAN members to get supply at high cost and hoarding of product to sell above regulated price to make marginal profit. Mardia Umar, Trust TV News, Abuja.
In business, President Muhammadu Buhari has commended the BUA group for its strides in narrowing the gap between demand and supply of cement in the country. The president gave the commendation Friday at State House, Abuja, while receiving a delegation from the group led by the chairman, Abdul Samad Rabiu, on a thank-you visit. President Buhari had last month visited Sokoto to commission the Line 4 of BUA cement, which would ensure further availability of cement, of which Nigeria suffers about 3 million tons deficit.
Proving to us Nigerians that it's not only Dogon Turanchi that matters. Yes, there's one productive angle which God has given to all Nigerians. So I thank you very much for coming. I'm very pleased with this visit. I thank you very much. I wish you much more success. And I'm pleased that you have employed people across Nigeria.
Your remarks during
And finally, on the foreign scene, street fighting broke out in Ukraine's capital, Kyiv, as Russian forces advanced on the city and Ukrainian officials urged residents to take shelter. Reports say as dawn broke in Kyiv on Saturday, it is not immediately clear how far the soldiers had advanced, while Ukrainian officials reported success in fending off assaults. Fighting persisted near the capital, with skirmishes reported on the edge of the city of nearly 3 million people, which suggested that small Russian units were probing Ukrainian defenses to clear a path for the main forces. Saturday marks the third day of a massive land, sea and air invasion ordered by President Vladimir Putin in what turned out to be Russia's biggest military deployment since World War II and has resulted in hundreds of casualties. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky refused an American offer for him to evacuate, insisting that he would stay in Kyiv. Zelensky renewed assurances that the country's military would stand up to the Russian invasion and said that claims that the Ukrainian military would put down arms were false. With that, we wrap up Trust News Update. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Dashan Husseina Usman. Thanks for watching.